Good evening, depending on where you are. I'm here today with Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Cooley. Lieutenant Colonel Cooley is one of my mentors. He is the current battalion commander for 8th ESB, 8th Engineer Support Battalion down at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, Jacksonville, North Carolina. He is also the 5th black belt to be promoted here in COA BJJ. Today I invited him on to talk about leadership from a Marine Corps standpoint and Jiu-Jitsu. So what is the correlation between the characteristics of a good Jiu-Jitsu practitioner as well as a good Marine Corps leader. So with that being said, sir, can you talk about what, if any, attributes of Jiu-Jitsu have helped kind of shape your leadership style or abilities?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what Jiu-Jitsu has brought me, and I actually started training when I was a young enlisted dude back in 2001. And I think the first thing I noticed was confidence. So that attribute, obviously, to be a Marine, to be a leader, you have to have confidence. So I'd say that's the first attribute that comes. And then you start seeing a lot of things be able to be transferred from Jiu-Jitsu to the Marine Corps to Jiu-Jitsu. And then I just started carrying on other things. And then my enduring principles that I talk about, the moniker of legacy, I talk about loyalty, I talk about endurance, I talk about grit, I talk about agility, I talk about competence, and I talk about you. So those are the things to me that make a lot of sense. And whenever I talk to individuals about, hey, this is what I think about you, I may not know you as a Marine. And I retired Leroy down in Jacksonville. Do not know him from Adam as a Marine, but he's a gunnery sergeant. I know him on the mats, and everything's transferable. And so the thing I look at the most as a leader is character. I know that's also transferred from McMap as well. So I think those are the attributes. I try to be somebody of good character, moral soundness. I'm a father as well, so I think about my kids, and I try to think of every Marine as just temp loaned to me by somebody, a mom, a dad, a husband, a wife, and I try to carry that on, and just really the attributes I bring are just be a good dude, be a good person, the character piece, and then you're always building on a legacy. Is it going to be positive or negative? Is it going to be a noun or an adjective?
For sure, yeah. So you kind of hit on the second point I'd like to talk about, transferable aspects from Jiu-Jitsu to Marine Corps leadership. So outside of the character piece, are there any things you can think of, any other things you can think of that transfer directly from, training Jiu-Jitsu, training on the mats into a good Marine or a good Marine Corps leader? Yeah,
I just like I've told many people, and when I teach Jiu-Jitsu down on the base, everything is transferable back and forth, Jiu-Jitsu to Marine, Marine to Jiu-Jitsu, and I can teach our doctrine, I can teach our warfighting philosophy on the mats. You talk about everything from the nature and character of war. It's like Jiu-Jitsu, right? So nature is constant, never changes. Character always changes. Something new comes into the game. Yeah. All right. Now you look at Jiu-Jitsu, same thing. When I first started, it was like there was an open guard, there was a closed guard. Now there's like flying pterodactyl guards and everything like that. Yeah. So it's transferable. The nature's always there. The mats are always there. Everything is sound. The doctrine's there, but there's always new moves, new techniques, new weapons being applied. So that's one way I look at it. Other things that you bring into it are just, I hit on it when I talked about it up front, was the confidence piece being transferable. If I'm comfortable on the mats and I'm able to make decisions in an adverse situation, that transfers over to being a Marine leader as well. All right, it's a puzzle. I'm trying to put the puzzle together. All right, now I'm in a time condensed environment. All right, and I'm trying to beat that clock. And maybe I'm not getting the submission, but I'm getting in a better position. Yeah. Always a better position than the enemy. So I mean, I could go on and on about how this ties to our maneuver warfare philosophy and how I can, just use the economy of force. When I'm tired, how do I survive? Yeah. Right. And that's the biggest piece I love that I can take from Jiu-Jitsu over to the Marine Corps, is just the decision-making abilities. And knowing, hey, I can be in a very bad situation, but I can also get out of this because there's always something I can do to better my position as well.
For sure. So kind of touching on what you talked about, confidence and kind of building better overall leaders and Marines, have you noticed a distinct difference in your battalion between the Marines that that train and the Marines that don't? And can you kind of describe like the difference in that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So I have many Jiu-Jitsu fighters in the battalion now. I said at my change of command with Professor Kelly sitting there, I said, this will be a fighting battalion.
Nice.
It took a while, but people started catching on. I got Jared Feckety down there with me. He's my training officer in the 3 shop. Nice. College wrestler, just went out to Worlds, got second place in gi, and then won the no gi as well. So he's a stud. So first and foremost, what I've seen him be able to do is, when he was a platoon commander, he was taking Charlie Company and his platoon. We're doing this for PT. Nice. And I could see an instant change in those Marines. There was a little bit of swagger, there was a little bit of cockiness, but what that really comes out to is that confidence piece. They're confident, they make better decisions, they think about others. Like we always talk about, the training partner is the most important person on the mats with you. They start thinking about Marines the same way.
To the left and right.
Yeah, to the left and right. And that's what we talk about all the time, taking care of the person, you know, on the left and right of you, watching somebody six all the time. So you see that, you see the character piece transfers over, confidence, I've said those a couple times, but you start seeing really just everything about that Marine starts changing. They a little more disciplined, because this is a disciplined art that we do. They start stepping up and taking care of each other if they're in bad situations. So look into the left and right as well. And I mean, there's so many transferable things, and people just keep adding to the battalion of who's doing jiu-jitsu. Nice. All out in town, whether it be at CXBJJ, whether it be at Ground Zone, whether it be at Combat Club, I can show up somewhere and I got somebody saying, "Hey, sir," and I'm like, "Whoa, this is so awesome." Marines will walk by the office, "Hey, sir, I heard you had a tournament. How'd it go?" Nice. You know, Marines coming to the tournaments. I want to get into this, and so you see a constant change in them, and a lot of it really just makes them happier. Yeah. Because every time I come here, like I came here and drove 5 hours up north to train. Yeah. This is good for my soul. Yeah, for sure. This is one of those things that those inner demons we all got. I can have the worst day at work, but I may say, "No, I'm not getting on the mats tonight." Give me 30 minutes on the mats, a few good rolls. 10 times better. 10 times better, happier and everything. And so I see that with the Marines as well.
So you touched on a point that I don't think a lot of people appreciate or talk about, but the ability to relate to your Marines through jiu-jitsu. You know, we have a ton of programs. You know, General Paxton used to say that we're drowning in resources, but we're starving for results. Right. You know, jiu-jitsu is absolutely a way to relate to your Marines, communicate with them. And I don't think a lot of people are able to value that. Another point I'd like to draw that you talked about, being a prior enlisted Marine, being around the Marine Corps Martial Arts program and jiu-jitsu for a while, what's been like the evolution of leadership towards, you know, fighting in the Marine Corps from your standpoint?
It's definitely, it's gotten better. So I had a couple amateur fights when I was a young enlisted dude, but people were getting NJP'd back in the late 90s, early 2000s for going out and fighting, for training, you know, and it'd be like, "Oh, if you get hurt, you're government property, I'll NJP you." And it's like, come on, man. This is a fighting military that we're in. The commandant wants us to fight. I actually have a couple pro fights under my belt as well, and I remember the first time I had one, I was a lieutenant, company commander. I went to the battalion commander, I was like, "Hey, sir, I got this opportunity," and he goes, "Do it." Nice. The commandant wants us to fight, and he boxed growing up, so that definitely kind of helped. Yeah. And now people are always asking, but I have individuals. I have the 2nd Marine Logistics Group Chief of Staff out training jiu-jitsu with me. That's awesome. He wants to learn, and he wants his kid to continue to learn. I have other senior leaders down there wanting to learn, wanting to see it. We have the CG of 2nd MLG wanting to make a health performance institute. That's awesome. And allow me to keep heavy bags in there and mats in there as well. So they see that there is this transformation of what Marines become when they add something more to it. Because the thing about it is, in McMap, once a guy gets a belt, he's done training. Yeah. And we know that.
We call it,
Yeah, so.
Call it for what it is,
Exactly. You know, this is an art that you can continue on. Yeah. And I should always want to strive for more. And I think the way I've been able to sell it to folks, and me being a battalion commander, I love it. I'm like, yes, absolutely, go do this. Somebody comes to me and I got to fight. I want you to fight. Yeah, so awesome. I cornered Jared at one of his fights, and it's one of those. And I was like, that's all you got to do is ask me. I take the risk now. So
yeah, I totally agree. I do think it's, you know, widely more accepted in the Marine Corps. One of my fondest memories, you may not remember this, is DC Open 2017. I was a student at EWS. one morning in the gym in the basement of Geiger Hall, I was in on the treadmill running in a sauna suit. And as each one of the students, walked by, they're kind of looking at me like, what is this dude doing? But you came in, getting on the Stairmaster like you did almost every morning.
Right.
You just looked over, nodded, and smiled. I was like, at that moment, the only person in the room that knew, understood, and appreciated the process I was going through was you, man. So, instances like that around the Marine Corps, I think are awesome.
That was me in 2011 to 2012 as an EWS student. Copa Nova was the big tournament in the area at the time. I'm cutting weight throughout the day. We used to have a big old Halloween party at EWS until people started getting in trouble, so they had to get rid of it. But I remember going up, weighing in, and coming back, and everyone's like, have a beer, have this. I'm like, I'm fighting tomorrow. I can't. I just made weight, I'm good. So, I know the struggle. I know that part of the process for sure.
So last but not least, I like to close with talking about the process. So
absolutely.
Can you talk about what aspect or aspects of the process of training jiu-jitsu or training in the Marine Corps that you most appreciated or most valued throughout the time?
The process has been great, and I'll start when I first started back in 2001. I quit, and I'm glad I didn't. But it's my mother passed away from cancer, and so when I'm one of those that'll say jiu-jitsu saved my life, because I'm a mama's boy, still am. I know she's constantly looking down on me, but it's one of those. Jiu-jitsu gave me a place to escape. So just that process of healing definitely helped. Went on, and I was a white belt for 6 years. I was a blue belt for 6 years. Professor Kelly invested in me with a purple belt. I said, I am now loyal to you. I was a purple belt for 6 years. Got a brown belt for 2, and then I got my black. So it was a long process. Guys get black belts, the real good guys, you're talking 8 to 10 years, if not sooner. So I stuck it out. There were definitely times I wanted to quit. But at the same time, I'm like, why would I do that? Because, part of it I touched on with the McMap belt and everything. If you're only in it for the belt, you're going to quit once you get it.
For sure.
If you're in it for the knowledge, you will continue to strive on. Absolutely. That's what I'm in it for: lifelong knowledge, lifelong friendship, and trying to build my own legacy, like I touched on earlier. Yeah, for sure. Anything you would pass on to either practitioners on the mat that are just starting out, or Marines when it comes to kind of trying to balance Marine Corps responsibilities and still wanting to train? Yeah, it's I get asked all the time, how do you have time to train? Because I still actively compete, and I love it. Not as much as I used to. I can do 1 or 2, but it's nice now doing like pro ones and getting a little money for it.
For sure.
I don't need the money, but I like the money. The kids like it too. There's somebody new that's training here at this school, and I'll use him as an example, Tyler Martin. He came from California, and out of nowhere, he hits me up with a text message when he came out here, and it says, I think I finally got to take the dive. I got to try this jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he told me when he came in here.
And I tried getting him. I've known him since 2013. Tried getting him on the mats when we deployed together on the SP MAGTF. Never did it. But to him, he had surfing in California. He doesn't have surfing out here. So he said, I said, go see my guys at COA. And the things that I told him is what I tell everyone. I'm like, just give it a shot, man. But I'm telling you, it's like a drug. You are gonna latch on, and you're gonna need your fix. And literally like 3 days later, he's like, can you send me some videos on how to do this, this, and this? And still to this day, he texts me and he's like, oh man, I got put in this move, today was the first day somebody heel hooked me. Oh man, I got my ass beat today. And I'm like, just stick it out. And there's times, there's a part of him that's like, I have to stick it out because I told you I was going to, but he's actually taken a hold of it.
I think he's hooked now. He's in here just about every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yes, and so I'm happy I'll see him tomorrow at Dom Patrol. But it's give it a shot, test it out. It will change your life. It may save your life. I'm a testament to that myself. You will never forgive yourself if you never at least step on the mats and try. 100%. So just always building upon yourself and your legacy.
Nice, awesome. Well, thank you for your time, sir. Much appreciated.
No, thank you.
Again, good to see you up here at COA headquarters. And if you're in the Jacksonville, North Carolina area, you can stop into Groundstone, Tulsa, out there in Groundstone. You can stop in the Combat Club in Jacksonville proper, and then
CXBJJ.
Yeah, CXBJJ is a newer one. Yeah, but all good places to train down in North Carolina. So thank you again, sir.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.